Tales from the Tavern. The Wizard. Part 8.
The nights were the worst. Always the nights. When the lights go out and the room is encased in a sea of darkness, an unnatural darkness that seems to suffocate your soul, you are left with only your grim thoughts and the hateful stone walls that forge your prison. The door remains locked. For our own safety, we are told. But we know this to not be true. I no longer desire to leave this place. Escape is a word that is driven from your vocabulary before you even take your first breath inside. And those who have tried are meticulously corrected with brutal efficiency. They do not speak of the horrors they endure, nor does anyone wish to hear of them. If you manage to cast away the fear, loneliness, and dread, you can occupy your mind with your ears. The hum of the fickle air conditioning has a specific pitch when it functions properly, and another when the electrical grid is overloaded, which is not uncommon. Listen. Can you hear it? That steady drone of recycled air whistling through the vent. Sleep will call you eventually, but never with grace or goodwill. The mornings are a welcome respite, like being removed from a bath of boiling water and thrown onto a bed of spikes. The lights are triggered at the same time every day. Your eyes scream in agony as they adjust to the fluorescent bulbs above your head. While you dress, you are accosted by a pretentious voice emanating from the intercom next to your door.
Good morning, Genco family, and what a lovely day it is to serve your community. Today's special is reconstituted chicken breast with protein chips and farm-grown asparagus. And if you forget, don't worry. You can always check the Genco app on your company-issued smartwatch for the meals of the day. The weather is looking good this morning with only a 40% smog index. Yay! Thank you all for your continued efforts towards Genco's vision of making a happier and brighter future for everyone. And remember, today is Entrepreneur Day, so be sure to thank a CEO or company executive for their selfless sacrifice in service of our communities and our country.
When the announcement ends, the doors are unlocked, and you make your way to the work line where you are searched, scanned, and placed in a queue. After what seems like hours, you finally meet with the labor director where you are assigned a work designation for the day.
Name?
She asks. I give it.
Just a moment. Work Zone 7B-A, Team 32, Customer Service. Your supervisor is Miss Roberts. Thank you,
she says with even less energy. I nod and make my way to the uni-rail, where they transport workers all over the sector in a matter of minutes. For the entire day, I am in a foul mood. Handling the most insufferable, entitled, and dull-witted people all day takes a toll on you. I would rather work the factory or clean the streets, but we have no choice in the matter. When you arrive home, if you can call it that, your spirit is as crushed as it was before you woke. All hope of leaving this wretched place flees from your thought when you remember you are contractually obligated. For most, it is 30 years. Those who are lucky, only 20. Even when your contract expires, it is the same no matter where you go. It is a sort of corporate oligarchy, a lord and serf relationship that every company has mutually agreed upon. The laws are etched with the blood of the people, while the neo-aristocrats reap the majority of the harvest on the backs of the common man. Books are not banned, but your speech is highly regulated at all times. If you are caught peddling the wrong ideas, it is a sentence worse than death. You are blacklisted from every single company where you inevitably find yourself on the streets, unable to find employment. Your body soaking the toxic fumes and poison smog, slowly rotting away in pain and misery. Even charities tend to keep their distance from you, and if you're lucky enough to find some assistance, you are given a few scraps of synthetic protein or a new rubber shirt. Dead rats and soiled rags are more desirable. I wish things were different. Every day, though I have accepted my fate, I pray that things would get better. If only we could go back and...
The linens were utterly drenched with cold sweat. A faint light barely shone through the window, and the songs of birds had started to rise up in chorus of the morning. I lay there, my chest rising and falling frantically with bated breath. The fear, confusion, sadness, and pain enveloped me like a sickness. But it was just a dream. I knew that. But I couldn't help but dwell on what had just occurred. It felt so real. As if I was another person, seeing through his eyes, Or, I don't know. I was at a complete loss. I rose from my bed and began to search for a pair of fresh clothes. The wizard stammered, his hand shaking, spilling hot tea all over his robes.
Tell me again, my friend, tell me again, but slow down this time and try to remember every single detail, no matter how insignificant it may seem.
I calmed down and described my dream again. The wizard listened intently with a wild look in his eyes. It was quite unsettling. I have never seen the wizard in such an emotional state of discomposure. He seemed frantic, nervous and eager all at the same time, hanging on to my every word. When I finished, he seemed to stare through me for a very long time, then gazed around the room at nothing in particular. He rapped his knuckles on the table and tugged at his beard anxiously. I too was anxious and eager to hear his thoughts, so I broke the silence. Wizard, what does this mean? And for what reason has this telling of a simple man's dream addled your wits and driven you to such passion? It is only a dream after all. Surely such a common occurrence of basic human biology bears not any serious implications, for good or for ill. The wizard collected his usual controlled demeanor and said,
There is much to be said here, and I must say that what has happened to you indeed bears serious implications. But take heart, for the suffering you have just endured could indeed prove fruitful. By what measure, I know not. One thing is for certain, though. We will have to investigate this matter further, but not here.
I furrowed my brow. Speak plainly, wizard. What good can come from such a wretched dream? I have learned much from you for many moons now, and I know not of any significance the mind of a humble peasant can provide for you and your intellectual pursuits. To where must we go? Help me understand, wizard.
Be at ease, my friend. Much has been said, and we are both as disheveled as a hare caught in a hunter's snare. I shall illuminate you more on this matter very soon. For now, I seek contemplation and solitude, as should you.
The wizard looked down at his cup.
And now my tea is cold.